Report number 57, August the 26th. This is Matthew Halton of the CBC, speaking from Paris. Speaking from Paris. I am telling you today about the liberation of Paris, about our entry into the town yesterday, and I don't know how to do it. Though there was still fighting in the streets, Paris went absolutely mad. Paris and ourselves were in a delirium of happiness yesterday, and all last night, and today. Yesterday was the most glorious and splendid thing I've ever seen. The first French and American patrols got into the outskirts of Paris the night before last. Yesterday morning the soldiers were coming in force. I came in with them, with French troops, into Paris. I believe the first Canadian to enter Paris was Captain Colin McDougall of the Army Film and Photo Unit, and I think I was the next. We came in from the south, along the Avenue de l'Italie. For hours, we had strained our eyes for the first sight of Paris. And then, suddenly, there it was, the most beautiful city in the world, and the people surging into the streets in millions. I don't know how we got along those streets. We were among the first vehicles, and the people just went mad. We drove for miles, saluting with both hands, and shouting Vive la France till we lost our voices. Every time we stopped for a second, hundreds of girls pressed round the jeep to kisses, and to inundate us with flowers. But, as we drove along the Boulevard Saint-Germain toward the river, and the bridge leading to the Place de la Concorde, the crowds thinned out, because there was fighting just ahead in the Chamber of Deputies. There was machine gun fire, rifle fire by German snipers, and an occasional shot from a tank. For half an hour we watched the fighting, battle in the streets of Paris. It was indescribably dramatic. Fighting, yet the people frantic with the joy of liberation. We saw Germans stop fighting and come with white flags to surrender to the French soldiers lying behind their barricades. At times, bullets spattered the walls around us. No one seemed to care. Then I asked a policeman how I could get round the fighting and across the river to the opera and the center of the city. I asked if there was still fighting round the opera. The gendarme at once telephoned to the Maquis. The Maquis at once sent a car to lead us round. From that moment on, I knew what it was like to feel like a king. 3 people of the Maquis came and got me. 2 young men and a beautiful girl, an actress. One of the loveliest women I've ever seen. They broke into tears when they saw I was Canadian, and they kissed me 20 times. Then they took me in their car, and we drove through the wildly cheering crowds with our arms round each other. We crossed the river to the Ile de la Cité, the cradle of Paris history, and us there now, hand in hand with history, and past Notre Dame, and then up the avenue of the Opera to the Scribe Hotel. Here the crowds were just beginning to come into the streets, mad with happiness. My friends were shouting, "Il est Canadien," he's a Canadian. And I knew what it was to feel like a king.
Elle éclate. Paris déborde. Les troupes alliées pénètrent en masse, innombrables, joyeuses, gorgées d'essence, bardées de fer. On les acclame. La ville bouillonne. On escalade des chars. On s'embrasse.
Je suis très content d'en parler.
L'Amérique répond comme elle peut.
Le peuple de Paris est bon et joli.
Et les Parisiennes, en échange des cigarettes, donnent ce qu'elles ont, un peu de rouge à lèvres. Samedi 26 août, une semaine, jour pour jour, après que le peuple de Paris s'est dressé, après les jours de bataille et d'angoisse, c'est la journée du triomphe et de la certitude. Le général de Gaulle, chef du gouvernement provisoire de la République française, a traversé la capitale sur un tapis volant d'acclamation. Précédé par les chars victorieux, entouré des généraux Leclerc, Koenig et Juin, il descend les Champs-Élysées à pied, sans face, mêlé à la troupe de ceux qui ont lutté avec lui, hors de France et en France. De la Concorde qui plie sous le poids de la foule, le général est remonté en voiture. Et le défilé s'engage dans la rue de Rivoli, où flottaient hier encore les étendards à 3 gamets. À l'hôtel de ville qui fut le premier centre de la libération, le général de Gaulle salue Paris et le remercie. La joie déferle de rue en rue, partout, et vient éclater sur cette grande place au cœur de Paris, au cœur de la France, la place de la République.